Did your rabbit just have babies? You're wondering what you should be feeding her to make sure she can take care of the babies? That's what we're going to discuss in today's video. Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Rednecked video. Again, my name's Chris, and if you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. And I've got a mother rabbit in here that's got some babies, so I figured we'd get in close and take a look. And I try to answer that question about what you need to be feeding your rabbit. So let's go in close. Hopefully we'll be able to see inside here. There's not a whole lot of light. I've got the tarps pulled out here to keep the wind off of them because it is cold out today and the wind's blowing. It's about 35 degrees. And with the wind chill, it's probably in the negatives or at least down to zero. Wind's blowing hard today and it's cold. So I'm protecting them with the tarps, but we'll see what we can do to get in here and take a look at them real quick. All right, well, we are in the rabbit shed here. It's a little bit tight quarters. It's gonna be a little tricky, but I do need to get in here and take a look at these babies, make sure they're doing okay. Mama is a little bit overprotective of them. She does not like me getting in here and messing with them, but we need to take a look, make sure everybody's doing okay. I haven't checked them in a couple of days. All right, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see them. There's only 4 in here right now, but they are doing just great. They got their eyes open, hopping around. They're only about a week and a half, 2 weeks old at this point. About 2 weeks, I think, is where they're at right now. And they're doing great. No problems whatsoever. So let me get them back in here, get her calmed down. We'll talk more about, again, what you should be feeding your mother rabbit. I'll get back. Show you, she can be a little bit grumpy. There, she biting my sleeve there. There you go. It's nothing to worry about. There we go. Let's get this camera back out of here so we'll have a little bit more room to talk. All right, I'm gonna stand over here, kind of keep the wind off me a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better, but oh, hang on, got something in my eye. There we go, got that taken care of. Okay, as far as what to feed your mother rabbit, you know, honestly, it's not that difficult. You don't need to make any drastic changes to her diet. In fact, it's better not to make drastic changes to their diet. Never should you make a drastic change to a rabbit's diet. What I mean by that is if you're feeding them pellets, you want to switch them over to feeding them greens or, you know, natural, more, what do you call natural food, I guess. Don't do that drastically, do that slowly. But now is not the time to do that. Not while she's got babies that she's nursing, because any kind of diet change on a rabbit, drastic diet change, can cause some severe gastrointestinal problems, can cause them to have diarrhea, any of those kinds of things. You don't want that to happen with your mother rabbit while she's trying to nurse her young. So, if you're feeding a pellet, let's talk about that first. If you feed your rabbits rabbit pellets, you don't need to make any changes to her diet. I would say that nursing does probably need a little higher protein. So if you're not feeding a higher protein pellet, and by that I mean anything over about 16%, I feed a 19% pellet to all my rabbits all the time. But if you're feeding a pellet that is a little bit lower in protein, you might want to try to get a higher protein pellet for your rabbit and start feeding that. The one thing you do want to make a change though is don't just feed them, like normally I say, feed your rabbits only as much as they'll eat within 24 hours. You don't want to overfeed them. But when a doe is nursing, keep her feeder full all the time, especially as the babies start getting older, because they'll start eating those pellets as well. And you just want to make sure she has as much food as she needs while she's nursing. She needs that extra food. She won't overeat during that period. So keep her feeder full all the time. You can give her unlimited hay. I use a Timothy hay because most pellets are alfalfa based. So I use a Timothy hay. You can give her unlimited hay and unlimited pellets. Keep it full all the time. That's the big difference with when you're feeding a doe before she's nursing and after she's had her babies. So before she's had her babies, I feed her as much as she'll eat within 24 hours. If she acts super hungry when I feed her in the mornings and she just dives into the pellets, she gets a little bit more pellets that day. If she hasn't cleaned up all her pellets from the day before when I go to feed, she gets a little bit less pellets that day. But once she's had her babies, the feeder stays full all the time, and that's the big change. Now, let's assume that you are feeding your rabbit greens and you're feeding them off of a more natural diet, not rabbit pellets. There are a few things that you do want to avoid. You want to avoid, while the doe is nursing, mint, sage, parsley, I think that's most of the list right there, because that can dry them up and that can cause them to not have enough milk to be able to supply for their young. other than that, don't make any other drastic changes to their diet. Now, there are a couple of things that you can add, safely add, without having to worry about it causing any gastrointestinal pain or problems, I should say, and without having to worry about any adverse effects. In fact, it could be beneficial for your rabbit adding a little bit of calf manna to your feed. And that will help her produce a little bit more milk. You can buy that in any kind of farm supply store, anything like that. You just go in and ask for calf manna. They'll know exactly what you're talking about, and they'll be able to provide that for you. And you just use a little bit of that to supplement her regular feed, and that can help her produce more milk. So if she has an extremely big litter, that may be something that you want to add to their feed. I don't personally need to add any of that. I don't ever find it really that necessary, but it won't hurt. So it's something that you might want to add to their feed if you're a little bit concerned about her not having enough milk to provide for her young. So anyway, pretty easy topic to discuss today. I've done videos on what you should be feeding your rabbits in the past. As far as rabbit pellets, I don't feed an all-natural diet. I feed a rabbit pellet diet to my rabbits. It's just much simpler, much easier to keep track of their nutrients, make sure they get a well-balanced diet. That's the way I do it. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, God bless.